So, ladies and gentlemen, this is going to be, we have the Trinity, God the Father, the Son, and the Holy Spirit. They've ministered first time, second time. So, ladies and gentlemen, this is their third ministration. Boys and girls, viewers at home, I'd like us to put your hands together as I make welcome. This is a collaboration and combination full of inspiration and direction. Are you with me, church? Gentlemen, I'd like us to put your hands together as I make welcome Stanley, Elechi, and the Lyrical scientists. Please jam your hands together for them as they come for their wonderful ministration. It's a bloody civilian.
Yeah.
If I sing, you will sing along because it's time to protest, riot against bad governance. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We must always fight for our rights. Oh yeah. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. Solidarity forever. We must always fight for our rights. I pledge to Nigeria, my country, to be faithful, loyal, and honest, to serve Nigeria with all my strength to defend her unity and uphold her honor and glory. So help me God.
You see, confessions are like a vapor that flows out of a boiling kettle, like a spirit. Disappears from our lips into thin air that forgets so quickly the meaning of its content, like a lady that forgets so quickly her labor pains when she hears the cry of her baby.
I disagree with that. Like a frog that never hops backward. I never go back on my confessions because I pledge to Nigeria, my country. I am faithful, loyal, and honest. I serve Nigeria with all my strength. I defend her unity. I uphold her honor and glory.
How about so help me God?
How can a God help a human that doesn't help himself? It is written, heaven help those who help themselves.
You say heaven help those who help themselves, right?
Yes, sir.
Okay, this is a big Bible reference, please.
I've searched from Genesis to Revelation. I can't find it. Okay, fine. How can a God help a nation whose pledge is just a lip service in the lip of most of its citizens? Check this out. See, there's killing in the east, shooting in the west, bombing in the north, fighting in the south. I see war.
I see love.
I see pain.
I see gain.
I see doubt.
I see faith.
How can you see life?
I see life.
How can you see life?
I see life.
In death? How can you see life? When their guilty bullets finally came to rest after putting people to rest, how can you see life? When a child who took 9 months to form was taken under 9 seconds, how can you see life when... I don't know. I don't know how you can see life.
You see, I know you are perplexed right now. You are wondering, you don't know what to say. You see, I know you are wondering that there are too many bleeding complications that the surgeon wouldn't know where to stitch. But you see, it all depends on who the surgeon is. For I'm not a surgeon who goes beyond mending your heartbreaks, but takes you and breaks you away from your heartbreaks. It turns your heartbreaks to become your ex, while he in returns becomes your experience. Like an equation, it solves your bleeding complication by turning your bleeding into bliss. Just like he performed a surgery on the side of Adam to produce Eve, leaving no injuries on his skin. See, it doesn't matter if I've been hurt by men and women in the streets. When you come under his medical care by giving him room for hospitality, he will always give you a retreat.
Story. Not until our leaders change. I won't change. Because whatever bad I do it for our good. And whatever wrong I do it for our right. Like stealing from what the government stole from us to feed the poor.
Stealing from what the government stole from us to feed the poor. You see, hatred is like hunger. Hatred makes us empty like an empty stomach. And not until we keep feeding on the love of God, our hatred, like hookworms, will hook up with us until they keep eating us up.
How can I feed on the love of God when I'm already fed up? How can I feed on the love of God when I'm already fed up? I grew up in a toxic land, filled with hot people. And you know that hot people hurt people. In fact, it's like you're not understanding. Let me tell you my story. There was this man. He walked like a saint towards my direction, structurally built to suit my imagination. My eyes so clouded in dust I couldn't see him beyond my loss, because every word from his honey-dripping lips were, I promise to love you forever. He called me beautiful. She turned my brain into a robot, called me his princess, built a castle in my heart out of the dust, called me his baby each time I wrapped myself up in his arms. So when all seems worst, I call him instead of God. I forgot God. I forgot God's love. I forgot I had to love God before my neighbor. I forgot every bit because of this handsome beast that shifted my view from God to himself. So I unwrapped my naked body to him. Body meant for the one who has the ring. Body meant for the covenant-declaring saint who says what he means. But no, I unwrapped my naked body to the wrong man. I kept rolling in sin. Each time we crossed path, my spirit said no. But my body had gone far, so far that only my mistake brought it back. When the strip proved positive, I was pregnant. Having another soul inside of me is beautiful, but ugly because it wasn't done right. So I called my lover. I told him our expression of love had something growing inside of me, but he denied us. Denied me to my face, called me a prostitute, and stoned me with negativity. I was shocked like I touched a live wire. My lip fell apart. You could see my throat directly from my mouth, because this was he who promised to love me forever. I thought he was my lover until my developing embryo was murdered. I watched the doctor suck my first fruit out of existence. I think I hate love. So tell me, how can I feed on the love of God when I'm already fed up? Listen, I'm too filthy and unworthy.
I know you think you hate love because you think you are unworthy. But you see, I can relate with your story. Just like that beast that broke your heart, I am humanity. I fornicated with the body of darkness, just like a thief in the night. Stealing became my relative because stealing was in my blood. So like a blood relative, I duped my blood brother. Just like Jacob duped Esau, like a motor saw, I drove him crazy. He became so mad at me that he almost killed me. I remember we used to be sweet like sugar until I became so painful like Cain. I began to inflict injuries on Abel. I was such a rebel. It was such an eyesore because I saw that I was so dead, like an eye disease that was incurable. I could not help myself like a blind bat. I was blind like blind Bartimaeus in the Bible. I could not help myself when I said I do to idols. Like an idol's mind, I became the devil's workshop. I could not help myself because I was suffering from a blood condition of spiritual death, just like the woman suffering from the issue of blood for 12 years. I could not help myself until I touched the hem of the garment of his righteousness. Not my righteousness, but his righteousness, because my righteousness is like a filthy rag before God. And you see, the story of this filthy rag is not a fabricated story. Because once upon a time, like an eye for an eye, we all deserve to die. The good, the bad, the ugly. Like an eye for an eye, we all deserve to die. It was just the irony of life, because I was running from life after life until I met with life itself. Just like the thief met with Christ on that cross that got me arrested when he said, "Today you shall be with me in paradise. So it doesn't matter what people are saying that you are listening to. It doesn't matter if there's a big question mark on your past as loud as an audio mark. It doesn't matter your past mistakes. It doesn't matter if your Garden of Eden has been encroached with snakes and you think your life is now at stake. All you have to do is to constantly look up to the Son of Man that was hung on the tree like a snake and get bitten with the venom of his grace. That will make you die to this flesh of disgrace, because this grace of his, this amazing grace of his, like a wholesale, has purchased the whole of us like a whole number, that has marked us with a mark that cannot be unmarked. So let's give him the remarks by taking sweet Jesus public to the marketplace when there's bribery and corruption. Let's sell Jesus to those in the cell. Let's not hurt Jesus, but let's announce Jesus to those in despair as his public speakers. And you see, you don't need to go to a private school for you to become a public speaker for Jesus. You don't need to go to a private school for you to become a public speaker for Jesus, because your qualification is not as a result of your result, but his results. So do not be ashamed to show off your scars to the world as scar bearers, because these scars are not wounds, but marks that marks the end to the suffering of every country, class, or creed. The answers to all are past questions, the results to all are present test.
So you mean in his palm, he held my sin, took it straight to the cross, and nailed it there?
That means the scars of our past are the scars on his palm. So go and show the world whose scars you're made of. Go and be a sign to those that only understand sign language. Go and be the world's greatest wonder. Go and show the world that despite your shortcomings, you don't have a blood connection with God like a life wire. You are dangerous, and they too can be dangerous. When it comes to the knowledge of the light, they too can be dangerous to darkness. When it comes to the knowledge of the light, because the whole essence of receiving the life of Christ is for us to reflect it like a reflector by shining. And if you're not shining as the light of the world, then you, me, if we are not shining as the light of the world, then we are not different from darkness.
A round of applause for him. Keep jabbing those hands together for him. My God, this is beautiful. It is wonderful.